right, just getting ready to do some work in my car, and I want to cover a couple of things first before I get started, and that is around safety. Just please be very careful when you're working on cars, especially, you know, there's just lots of areas that can cause problems. One thing you want to make sure is, you know, never depend upon your jack to hold up a vehicle. Get you some jack stands. I happen to have 4 of these. They're 3-ton jacks, and I probably use more than I should, but anyway, I don't want any damage, so I just to myself. And get you a wheel chock to hold the front and the back tires. I use one. You know, if you want to use multiple, that's certainly up to you. Another area is lighting. You know, I have 3 lights here that I use, and again, I don't care how much lighting you have. It seems like you never have enough, or you never have what you need in the area that you need it. So I have a tendency to overlight as well. Another area for safety, you know, hearing protection, especially if you got air equipment, you know, that can make a lot of noise. You might want some kind of hearing protection. Certainly you want eye protection as well at all times, and gloves. I use these nitrate throwaways, and I'll usually put another pair on with them just to help with the gripping piece of it. And but anyway, it's keep all the. All right, today I'm getting ready to replace my multifunction switch on my 2003 Ford Expedition. So also I'm going to be replacing the ignition switch. So I've been having some weird things happen. Talked to lots of mechanics about this, and you know, it's kind of a crapshoot at this point. But sometimes I turn the ignition switch off, and one time the car kept running. And one time I turned it off, and engine turned off, but the accessory stayed on. So everything looks good in the fuse box. I don't suspect there's any corrosion in that area. So I'm going to start by replacing the ignition switch. And you know, this guy sits back up in here of the behind the steering wheel. And my multifunction switch as well has been giving me a little bit of a problem. It's just old. You know, it's just sometimes it turns off, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it the lane change doesn't work right. So I'm just gonna went and got a new one of those. Found a great deal on eBay on a used one. Again, these are Ford parts I'm putting in. There are the part numbers if you ever want to do such a thing. But you know, sometimes I don't always do Ford parts, depends on what it is. But you know, if it's something to do with electronics, it's just, I just found it better to stay with Ford. You know, I've tried some aftermarket stuff and I've had problems with it, and I had to rip it off and put in Ford parts. So, you know, that's the first place I look for everything. If I can find it, sometimes it's really hard to find it at a decent price, but sometimes you just got to bite the bullet and go with it. All right, so to do that, this airbag has got to come off of here. I know a lot of people say, "Oh my God, I never take an airbag out," but like everything, you know, there's a proper way to do it. There's a sequence of things you have to do, and I will show you how to do that today. I've had it off a couple times already before doing some work in there. Okay, so the first thing you're going to have to do this, be very careful. Again, these things can, you know, they are explosive, so be very careful with them, and don't do any shortcuts. But you will want to de-energize the car, you know, so make sure that everything, you know, put your key on accessory, make sure everything's off. You don't want anything on. And then we're going to start, there's a fuse down this fuse panel down in the passenger side compartment where your kick panel down your feet down here. There is a fuse down there that specifically addresses or drives the module on this, and it's the number, it's a F1.19, F1.19. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull that, and then we will turn on the ignition switch to make sure the light showing comes on. It shows there's an airbag issue. You want to make sure that the car knows there's something wrong.
and then we'll turn it off again, and then eventually we're going to pull. The last thing we'll do to completely de-energize will be we'll pull the one of the battery cables. Probably, I think we pull the, I don't remember which one I pull now, but take off the battery cable, wrap it in rags so that it doesn't ever get back to that battery for one reason, and re-energize. And then we will wait 2 or 3 minutes, whatever, you can wait 5 minutes, whatever you want to wait, that you feel comfortable with, that the car has de-energized. And then we'll start the process of getting to the airbag and removing it, and I'll show you more about that. I am by myself, so generally what I do is I tell you what I'm going to do, then I show you what I done and did, and then if there's any problems along the way, I will also show you that as well. But since I'm by myself, it's hard for me to hold this camera and do it at the same time. I am not a car mechanic. I am a IT guy by trade that just loves to tinker and figure out how things work. So yeah, here we go. I don't know what a lot of things are called sometimes, but we'll do the best we can on the within the video. All right, and more later. All right, so in case you're trying to figure out, what fuse it is, this panel that comes off of this fuse box here, you can see number 19 is what we're looking for, and you'll have this is really matches what's here. So it's the one that's sitting right under that relay number 6. So this would be relay number 6, would be sitting right under him. Okay, the next step in the process is to, as you pull the fuse, is you want to put the key in, put it in the accessories only, and then monitor to see that your airbag light has come on. You want to wait at least 30 seconds for this, because that light always comes on when you first start the car. You just want to make dang sure it doesn't go back off. So what we're looking for, we want to make sure, one, that we got, main thing is that we got the right fuse off of the airbag module, restraint modules, and then if it stays off for at least 30 seconds, then what we'll do, next thing I'll do is go out and pull the ground off the battery. And all right, took off the ground off of the battery, and I put this towel up under it, so I do not want that sucker falling down on the post and re-energizing it at this point. So now at this point we're just going to wait, at least a minute, as long as you want to, whether you feel that the car has had a chance to de-energize. So then after that we'll get started on taking the airbag off. Alright, so now the next step is behind the steering wheel on each side. There's a little cover on there, so you want to pop that off, and there's a little, well, you may not be able to see it, there's a little bit of an indentation there, so you can get a little tiny screwdriver up under it. Okay, so, and then maybe I can make my light work, maybe I can't. There we go. Sitting right back there is I believe that's an 8mm bolt, and there are 2 of them, actually one on each side, and that's what actually holds the airbag to the steering wheel. So we're going to take those 2 things out, and then when that comes out, this part, well, then we can lift it off, and there's a couple of connectors in there, and I'll show you that once I get the bolts out. At this point I've got the bolts out, and I'm getting ready to pull the airbag part out now, because it's just free. You may have also noticed I've gone to a little bit of heavier weight glove at this point. You want to protect yourself as much. You want eye protection, a little bit more glove protection. I generally try to stay out of the car when I'm doing this, just in case it wants to blow. Again, just be careful with how you proceed from here. Again, this part just comes out now, so that's the airbag right there. And there are some, you'll see a couple of connectors. There's one right there in the very bottom, and there's one here at the top. And we'll take those out, and then this thing comes out. Now, I will tell you this. You're going to tendency want to carry it like upside down with your hand on here. Don't do that. Put your hand on the back side of it when you're carrying it, or carry it, you know, just know it, because if it happens to blow, and I guess it still potentially could, you know, the force is going to come out this way. So if you're holding it upside down with your hand on this, that's just going to give it a place to launch, and it's going to take off. And so if, at least if you got it on the back side, it's just the airbag is going to blow, and it's just going to blow up and back down. Scare the crap out of you, no doubt. And I'm sure you'll drop it, but I'm sure I would drop it. But anyway, just to know that. And then when I set it down, I put it on a again, towels, set of towels that I have. I don't want it to come in contact with anything that might potentially cause a charge, you know, an electrical charge to hit it. So just be, you know, careful with this thing, because it's there's some power there. Okay. All right. More. Again, I'm going to take off the connectors, and then we'll pick up with pulling the steering wheel out. One thing I wanted to mention differently than what I talked about, now that you said I got the airbag module out, there's two ways you can take this thing out. There's connectors that go into the back of the airbag, so there's a cable coming out of here. It has two connectors, plugs in back here on the airbag. You can take those out. Then you still got the cable hanging here. Since I'm gonna pull this steering wheel off, I wanted that cable out of my way, and in order to do that, I unplugged it from here. Just to let you know, there is a little red connector thingamajig, at least on mine it's red, it fits up in there. So you plug it in, and then you put this in. So this is a lock to actually hold that thing in, because naturally don't want it coming out. But just be careful with it. It's plastic. Get a little bit of screwdriver and start prying it out a little bit at a time until you can grab a hold of it and pull it out. And then you can remove that cable. And then this one, kind of a pain in the butt, but you know, I think this is the horn module, electrical. I could be wrong. You know, it snaps onto this thing here. There's really nothing there to grab, pull, push to release that snapping, piece over that lip. Got the steering wheel off. I used a combination of some 2-jaw and 3-jaw pullers that I had. Not ideal, but gear pullers, but they worked. So I got it off. Now I'm getting ready to got to take this cowling pieces off here, and we'll be able to get to the parts that we need to get off of here. All right, to get this piece of cowling off here, there's 2 screws, excuse me, and they're up under here. So just flip your tilt wheel down, and the screws up under here. And then on this side, you go up into it. It's in really deep, so don't think you're gonna, you know, don't get disheartened if you don't find anything. So the screw's way up in here, so you got to go in really deep. And then this little rubber part that fits around your ignition switch and your gear shift just pops off. All right, the other screw is, of all places, up under there. Okay, so you go up past your tilt, just to the right of your tilt deal, and kind of right up under the switch. So stick your screwdriver up in there and unscrew that bad. All right, so there is a 5.5 millimeter bolt sitting here holding this multifunction switch on. So take that out, and this will lift out. And then there are like, if you're looking at the new one, you'll see there's like 4 different plug-ins on the back side of this guy. And then so we'll take those out and put them back in, and then we'll get to the ignition switch next. All right, sorry, there's 3 connectors. I'm looking at something I thought. So again, there's a little slot sitting here behind this clock spring. This is the guy, you know, that allows your wheel to turn and keep all the wires from getting, let's see, sometimes the car is just amazing. There's a tremendous amount of engineering going on. But this is a very simple device that allows you to have all those controls on your steering wheel, but yet you don't have to worry about wires getting caught up. So that's the clock spring. I think that's what it's called. But anyway, the ignition switch is right here. So what I'm going to do is unplug him, And then I don't know if it's got a screw or something holding it in there or not, but then I'll replace that when we start putting this thing back together. All right, got the ignition switch out. Like I said, I pulled out the electrical connections. Again, it's got the little press tab on it. And then this is held on by two little things at the top and bottom, so of this bracket here. So that's where it goes in. This is coming in from your key. So when you turn your key, there's a little shaft in there that connects into this guy, and that's what turns everything on for us. So I'm hoping that's no problem. So we'll start putting it back together. I won't show you a whole lot going back together unless I run into some problems. But I will show you, certainly want to show you the, we'll pick back up with the airbag re-energization, whatever that word is, process. So now the repowering process, the first thing we're going to do is put the key in and turn it to on. Okay, put the key in, turn to on. Then go put the fuse back into the fuse box down there. Okay, key still on. Go outside, put connect the ground battery cable. Okay, so at that point you'll do that. Recommendation is don't have anything or anybody sitting around this airbag when you do connect the ground. And then after that, you'll come back in the car and you'll turn it to off. Wait 10 seconds, then turn the key back to on, and visually you want to make sure that your little airbag light up in here is going off. And so from that point on, hopefully if there's any issues, we'll find out at that point. So we'll let me go out and go ahead and put the get those two items in. All right, got all the electrical hooked back up. Turn the key back to the off position, get ready to turn it on. So here we go, and the airbag light is going to be somewhere up here in this right hand corner. So hopefully we can all see if it come on and go off. So we're going to the on position. The light is on. The light just went off. So there we go. System knows the airbag system back together. Everything checked out from the computer, so that is good.